All right, so we are talking about jobs, but how are we going to get those jobs? Joining us right now is Brian Hamilton, CEO of Sageworks, financial analysis firm for privately held companies. Thanks so much for being with us.
Hey, it's great to be here, Michael.
So what are the figures that we got on jobs today?
Well, right now it's basically flat, and there has been a small improvement in the number of jobs created by privately held companies. And as you know, of course, the privately held companies provide the vast majority of jobs in the country. I think it's about 50,000 jobs. So, that's a decent blip. It's not much to write home about, but at least it's positive.
But how about the number of people who were let go? Because, when they talk about, well, we added this many jobs, how many people were dumped or retired or took an early retirement?
Well, right. The overall unemployment rate, is flat. So things are basically staying the same. And what's notable about it over the last year is that the unemployment rate will go down a little bit. It goes up a little bit by 0.2, 0.3. But if you look at the trend line, and it's literally, you could set a board on there and set a plank for a house. It's been completely flat over the last year.
Well, planking is supposed to be the new trend, but this is not exactly what we had in mind. So What can this country do to get moving forward so we don't have this flat line?
This is a great question. It really is. And, of course, I don't have an answer for it, but I have to say for a couple of things. First of all, there's always the assumption that the government can do something to affect a change. Now, in a way, that's good because people are trying to do things and they're trying to affect a positive change and get things going. But the truth is that, the jury's really out on what the government can do, if anything, to get jobs created. So the second point is I would look at that in reverse. What would the government do to negatively affect job growth? And really, the elephant in the room, no question about it, is this whole idea of proposed tax changes right at the time when it looks like the debt issue has been settled or, roughly settled, at least for the time being.
What about the argument that the administration gives, as well as the Senate, that as far as the sacrifice that's got to be made, we've got to have it across the board? And why should you not have companies paying their fair share? And why are you going to put that burden on middle America? They can't afford it either.
Well, let's look at it this way. Let's say they're right. Let's just say, just for the sake of argument, they're right. It's still a cup of water over the Niagara Falls, meaning the savings or the increased revenue, Michael, is going to be about $59 billion according to our estimates. That is nothing, absolutely nothing compared to the debt that we've got. So you really have to look at this. And, it's definitely a balance. We've got two major issues. We've got the unemployment rate and we've got the national debt. And if you attack one on both sides, you try to increase revenue and cut expenses, you're going to hurt unemployment. And nobody, Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. No one wants to hurt job growth. So if you increase taxes, there's definitely a decent chance that's going to negatively affect the unemployment rate, meaning it's going to get worse. And nobody wants that.
We don't have any room for movement on that. We just don't. It can't get worse. This country just can't deal with it. Brian Hamilton, CEO of Sageworks, thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, Michael.